É isso, galera. Semifinal da Winners, Spring, Yus versus Wes. Yus trazendo aí novamente a sua Fate. Wes continua trazendo a sua Priya com seu Chakram. E bora lá. Não se esquece de dar uma olhadinha, me seguir nas redes sociais, no comentário fixado, tá bom? E meu canalzinho de games também, que é um canal diferente aí, uma proposta diferente pra vocês, tá? Tá tudo no comentário fixado, espero vocês por lá.
At the beginning of the game to try and get something going here against Wes, and Wes already branching off that recovery, sending Yus all the way up into the air, but getting his composure. And we were talking about it over in the other room. It makes me very, very nervous whoever's playing Chakrams, especially when they're soft platforms on the map.
Yes.
So good at resetting those options for the Chakram player on those aerial onslaughts. So that's another thing we're going to have to look and see if Yus is going to be able to counteract that as well.
Yeah, this one hopefully shouldn't be too bad, just because Western Air Temple, of course, does have that kind of high ceiling. So those, kind of scary scenarios we've become so accustomed to viewing when you're spectating Chakrams should be less likely to happen here. But with that said, I mean, Wes has a pretty decent damage lead here. Yus is trying to kind of mitigate some of the blows, but is being extremely patient and kind of slowly but surely, surgically trying to take apart Wes. And now the damage deficit has been all but made up for, and he can start fishing for some knockouts. Gets a falling side air right here, disarms Wes in the process, and has the orb here. He can go for that Ensig if he wants to, maybe off the side light setup.
Yeah, we'll see what he's going to set up here. Definitely, especially with the Fate, the Fate strength stat. Wes well into knockout range here. Okay, side light Sayer, that's going to be enough. Send him out to the side. And Yus is the first to strike, taking a stock number 1. See how long it takes Wes to counter back.
Okay, there's the weapon spawn. A weapon is going to go ahead and get snagged there by Wes. Of course, the Chakram in hand has it fused. Gravity cancels and goes for the fused side light, not something you see every day. And then it hits with the fused side air, right? So we've been watching a lot of Priya today, right? But in EU, very seldom usage of the fused kit. There was maybe a couple KOs taken with a fused down air, but otherwise people not really using it much. I think there was also one KO gotten with the fused side light as well, but Wes giving it a little bit of representation there, but now that he's, saying it's time to rack up damage, we're going to go right back to the split version and start chopping it up with those nairs and down airs.
We did see Fry a little bit switch over to that fused version when you get close in the knockout range. You'd be fishing for like a side light. But no, definitely been favoring the split version. Okay. Reach up with an air, and that's maybe something when we look at those damage stats in the weapon split, maybe on Chakram games, taking them all the way up to the top, and maybe, we could get a split between fuse damage and split damage in a future time. That being said, though, everything is super, even Wes, we've all done it 1,000 times, I've done it.
Cara, não é a primeira vez que eu vejo que isso acontece em campeonato, velho.
Last night. It's fine. It happens. It's just unfortunate when it happens in a tournament in this situation.
Yeah, you just got to remember to refresh those resources, man. I mean, you chase dodge in one direction, you're like, crap, I need to go the other way, and sometimes you can just end up kind of stuck or like a fish out of water, especially if you don't recognize within time. But with that said, I mean, Yus definitely kind of happy about that. The stock count is even, the damage roughly even enough. And Wes chopping back in with these nairs and these recoveries. Recovery lingering for so long. Gonna go ahead and make it hard for Yus to get out the way of that one. But, I mean, these individual hits aren't too threatening on their own, but it's kind of when it becomes these longer strings where you start to feel a bit of the oppression from the Chakrams here. But Yus hasn't really thrown out an attack with this orb yet. He's trying to make sure that he's lining up his hitboxes.
No punish.
2 whiffs so far. 3 now from Yus. 4 unable to find a hit. 5. There we go. Finally, after 6 different attacks. Just one nair. But
yeah, but it's one more that he had, a little bit more damage. Wes did a really good job though, being able to sneak down off stage, just stay out of the way of that punish. Oh, Yus taking it very high in the air, very risky behavior here. Okay, caught him with the neutral light. Big whiff on the nair. What is he looking for? He needs to get this damage back. We are 4 minutes and 30 seconds into game number 1. Wes hits him with the side light. Not much of a follow-up underneath it, though. Wes being brought into equal damage here. Hughes is doing a good job for the most part, staying out of those nasty strings, whiffing on the neutral sig. That's rough.
Yeah, that was a huge punish opportunity. Gonna have to keep fishing here, but I don't think that would have KO'd on this stage just because of how high the ceiling is. We probably need at least one more. And so now, if Hughes is able to get an N-Sig, it'll definitely be enough. Sidelight Zero push to the corner, but once again, the large blast zone's gonna mean he has to get an edge guard afterward, and just throws out a recovery, reacting to that dodge up.
Bora lá, próxima partida sem mudança de pick, sem mudança de mapa. O que eu acredito que vai continuar assim, pelo menos na mudança em relação aos picks, né? Os dois players bem consistentes já há uns campeonatos recentes, né? Jogando com esses dois personagens, então acho difícil haver alguma mudança.
Taking the damage lead here and continuing to put the aerial pressure on Wes, but now swapping it back over to the Chakrams, and we see a two-piece coming out from Wes. Very aggressive from Hughes here in game number 1. Oh gosh. Oh no.
And you can see Wes with the aggressive chase dodge is looking to get those little extra bits of damage, but once again, if it's not a recovery, whether it's the regular or exhausted, Hughes does not have to be too afraid of losing the stock. Throws out an orb recovery of his own here, saying, I'm the original spinning around the world kind of recovery that we have in this game. Y'all are kind of biting my style here. Lots of shades of similarities between these two weapons, but you know, Chakram a little bit more on the like guitar-like side.
I think, yeah, for sure.
Orb is a little bit more bludgeoning, but with that said, Hughes is going to be the first one to get a stock here. And going to try to extend this lead a little bit further. Doing a great job of weapon starving Wes, and he's juggling those weapons. Says, you know what, fine, I'll let it despawn, but not without snagging this other one from me. He's keeping the scythe in hand as well. He's trying to be sneaky with it. Where's the next spawn going to be? In the middle, and Wes is able to get the nair and the weapon pickup as a result.
Hughes pulling out all the tricks, trying to get every slight advantage that he possibly can in this matchup. Wes, though, great job in the air. Oh, whiffing on the side sig. Hughes getting the small D-light punish on it. Oh no, that's good. No, not enough off that split recovery. Looking for another one. Hughes trying to get the very high punish, but couldn't grab
Caraca,
it.
Nice.
Good extension off that soft platform though, as Wes catches the landing with the nair, sends Hughes up in the air with the recovery. What can he get off stage? Nothing but the swap on positioning here and a swap split.
Yeah, honestly, you can see the ceiling of this stage being like so helpful for Hughes here, right? He probably would have lost his stock 2, maybe even 3 times over. That Sayer finally is going to be enough. But definitely, you know, a stage I'm surprised that, like, we're going here as often as we are, right? We're just not getting those knockouts off the top. We're getting extremely close. But Wes also not opting to use the fused Chakram recovery at all, and so kind of missing out on some opportunities where he would be able to get the stock a little bit earlier. But with that said, I mean, Hughes looking really good on this fate right now. Hasn't really let the signatures rock on the Scythe kit, but maybe now it's about time.
Yeah, we haven't really seen it at all, have we? Okay. Sayer's going to go ahead and connect. Kind of edge guard that we have. Weapon throw to the face. Wes going to jump back over. We see the movement exchanges in the air. Both these guys are looking for the best positioning possible. Hughes throwing down the dare. Can't find it. Wes in his face with a dare of his own. Another one in. Ooh, reaching down again. Oh, he let the ground pound rip. He might be in trouble against Hughes. Oh, no punish off of that. Nothing.
Gets the N-Sig afterwards, so you know what? It's all worth, yeah. You know, I was thinking maybe he's going to be able to get a downer off the wall there, but couldn't quite line up the hitbox. Wes's recovery a little bit trickier than I think we both anticipated there, and he was able to get back, but not for much longer as Hughes was able to go ahead and turn things around extremely quickly here. And now he's just trying to get a little bit of extra damage. Chakram can feel so suffocating when you're in a final stock situation with it that you want to get as much damage as you possibly can here. And you know Hughes wanted that punch with the N-Light. If he was able to get it, he was going to be able to convert that to a Nair Sayer probably, and get close to 70-some-odd damage. But now gets caught by the recovery here. It's not enough. The split Chakrams yet again, not having enough punch to him.
And he will not swap over to that fused.
He won't.
He won't do it.
He'll just say, I'll find my next snare, and then I'll press recovery again, and that's what we're looking for. There's the recovery. Still not enough. You know?
I cannot believe it. Look how dark red it uses. I mean, I know this has a high ceiling, but that is crazy work. Okay, finally a signature coming out, but it's not going to be anything, and Wes is going to go ahead and tie these stocks up. But Hughes still has the damage advantage, has the game advantage in this set, and is going to look and try and go up 2-0, going into game number 2, or game number 3, pardon me. Okay, dares out. Reach up with the nair, a lot of whiffs happening here. Wes going to catch the landing. Hughes coming back up with the recovery, and nair's going to whiff. Oh, man.
Chopping him up just like that. He's chilling though. He has to spend everything to get all that damage. So Hughes gets down with the stock, and that's all he really cares about here. He can take the damage. Gets the side light, D light, and then now we're in a situation. He just has to be careful because West does have recovery right now. You know, threatening him up here, goes for a down air, and then tries to go for the recovery later. But once again, we've seen just how long Use can survive on Western Air Temple. So, yet again, not too worried about losing his stock off the top here.
It's crazy, even on Fayette, still having a lot of longevity in those stocks. Oh.
Threaten Ensig soon here, but he's going to need to get at least 1 or 2 more hits. You can see West is trying to close this game out. He's going to be looking for some recoveries, but even now, I don't think a split recovery will stop. That side light Sayer is going to be more than enough, right? Use kind of slowly working his way.
Make the conscious decision to switch
Bora lá,
to Fuse.
possivelmente a última partida desse set. Vamos ver se vai se prolongar ou não. E agora Miami Dome, né, mano? Continua ainda assim um mapa com plataformas bem interessantes pra ambas as armas, né? Sky Gimp de Chakram, Sky Gimp de Orb também existe essa possibilidade.
If you're playing the weapon in its current state, where it's so easy to kind of get your stray hits and win out in the neutral game, you're like, I don't mind if I have to do this interaction a couple more extra times to get the knockout because it's so much easier to find those wins out in neutral. But against a player like Use, who's going to definitely make beautiful read, but doesn't really lead to much, right? Like
good damage,
but it actually just puts Use back on the stage, which he needed to be on anyway. So.
Okay, see if Use is going to be able to continue this momentum. I mean, he has got 2 games on his side, but man, he has struggled and clawed his way for both of these games.
Okay.
Nossa.
Oh, the movement.
Yeah, West having to use the sword here. Rare footage, pre-on sword.
Rare footage. There it is. Nice.
Not much of it. Make sure you torrent it while you have the chance.
You know? No.
But here we go. I mean, West right back onto the split chakrams. Got Use on the side. Waiting for the weapon spawn. There it is. Has the scythe. Gonna go ahead and send West off the stage. Can't get too much more though. He didn't have a dodge. I'm sure there was a way for Use to convert into kind of more meaningful damage there, but ultimately he still has a stock lead. But for how much longer, that recovery is almost enough, and West is gonna chase super aggressively and make the stock count even.
Yeah, I mean, he had the opportunity. He went ahead and pushed the button, caught Use slipping up there at the top, and it was enough to go ahead and knock out. It's just unfortunate. We've been talking about it, at least you and I have, all day long, especially about this map. Those soft platforms being at that height on Miami Dome. This is such an advantage for Wes here. Maybe he's going to be able to convert this into a win, take us into a game number 4.
Let's see. I'm not quite convinced yet. Use with a slight damage lead here. Doing his best to try to hold center stage. Going to swap positioning with West, and West gets those juggles again, but only a couple hits. So that's nothing too scary for Use to deal with here, as he's looking to go ahead and get a nice comfy 3-0 victory, and a nice retaliation side air brings him 1 step closer to that victory here, as he's forcing West to approach him, and West is kind of struggling.
He is struggling. Catch. Oh, big whiff, but he got in perfect position to be able to get that follow-up, a side light Sayer, weapon throw out. Oh, he missed the bounce off the orb, but he had to prime back up. He's good to go. Oh, he's starving him out. West Use wants it so bad. Side light Sayer.
Cara, é incrível como o Use consegue não errar um side light, velho. Jogar contra ele deve ser muito chato.
He grabs the chakrams immediately, splits them up, and he gets punished for it. You know, he gets punished for it, which, you know, is rare. You know, it's a very fast move.
Yes.
But Use able to just go ahead, back up, and hit him for it, and now, you know, has him in the yellow already. Even if Use loses this stock, he's definitely done about, if not a little bit more than a half stock worth of damage. And so he'd be sitting in a very comfortable position heading into the final stock of potentially this set here.
Yeah, very good extra credit going into his last stock for sure. See if he's going to be able to tack a little bit more onto it. Ooh, smart move, not going up there underneath Wes, not pulling that recovery, getting caught with the dare and pulled out of position. Okay, Use is a sharking on the bottom of the stage now, waiting for Rest to come down, trying to catch that landing. Wes decides to go off stage. No, not aggressing. Weapon throw to the face, gets a split as soon as he catches him. Even though Use being that red, you know, a fused recovery, a fused Sayer, a fused side light could get the job done. But the split recovery is going to do it as well. Is he going to be able to convert this stock, though?
Yeah, because at this point, I mean, we've seen that, like, you know, probably like 2 different neutral interactions is all West really needs to go ahead and bring the damage back to even, but he has to get like 5 hit strings, you know?
Right,
And so
right,
there
right.
he gets a 2-piece. You can see he doesn't take a whole lot of damage, but, you know, while it's not the most difficult, I mean,
That's
this should be
it.
game right here, right?
That's
Oh, he
it. Oh,
recovers.
wait, he
and
brought him
yeah,
back.
thought he was going to go for a ground pound there because he was going to have to dodge in to touch the wall at some point, but instead, you know, he says, oh, let's play a little bit longer. We'll see if he regrets it. And the answer is no. Use is going to 3-0.
Caramba, velho. Enfim, pessoal, pra continuar acompanhando os sets aqui que eu vou trazer mais pra vocês, é só se inscrever no canal, tá bom? Um beijo e até as próximas partidas. Tchau, tchau.